He says he's fine. He shrugs it off. He jokes instead of opening up. But deep down, there's a whole emotional world inside him, one he doesn't know how to share and maybe never will. Most men won't sit you down and tell you what they truly want in a relationship, not because they don't care, but because they've been trained quietly over years not to need. From a young age, boys are taught to man up, to stop crying, to tough it out. Vulnerability becomes something to hide, not something to express. So when they enter relationships, they carry that silence with them. And unless someone looks closely, no one notices. He wants to feel seen, not in the loud, obvious way, but in the quiet details. He wants his efforts to be noticed, even the small ones, the way he checks the locks at night, the way he pays the bill without saying a word, the way he stays up even when he's tired, just to be there for you. These aren't grand gestures, but they're his love language. He just doesn't call it that. He longs for emotional safety, a space where he isn't judged for being unsure, for being scared, for not having all the answers. But he won't ask for that space. He won't admit he needs it, because doing so feels like weakness. So instead, he keeps it in. He bottles things up. And over time, that silence gets mistaken for disinterest, or worse, emotional immaturity. But what if he just doesn't know how to say it? What if the man who seems emotionally distant is actually emotionally overwhelmed? What if he's not cold, but just afraid to be fully seen? Understanding what men want in a relationship starts with decoding the silence. It starts with realizing that behind the quiet, behind the jokes, behind the "I'm good," is a need just as deep and real as anyone else's. Respect, affirmation, acceptance, safety. He may never say those words, but if he finds someone who gives him that without asking, he stays. And in his own quiet way, he loves back, with everything he has. He won't ask for flowers. He won't expect handwritten notes or candlelit dinners. That's not how he defines love. For most men, what they crave isn't romance. It's respect. And the way they experience respect is often misunderstood. To a man, respect means being trusted. It means being seen as capable, as someone who can lead, provide, protect, and decide. When a woman constantly second-guesses him, criticizes his choices, or compares him to someone else, it doesn't just hurt his pride, it wounds his identity, because for him, love isn't real if it comes with condescension. He can be with the most beautiful woman in the world, but if he feels like she doesn't believe in him, he'll slowly check out. He might stay physically, but emotionally he starts to detach. And over time, the relationship turns cold. Not because of the absence of romance, but because of the absence of respect. Here's the truth. When a man is respected by the woman he loves, he feels invincible. He walks taller, he works harder, he listens more. Respect doesn't mean never challenging him. It means doing so in a way that doesn't humiliate him. It means understanding that tone, timing, and trust matter more than words. Sometimes it's in the smallest things, the way she lets him take the lead on a decision without making him feel incompetent, the way she acknowledges his efforts even if they didn't lead to success, the way she supports his goals even if she doesn't fully understand them. These moments are subtle, but to him, they're everything. It's easy to say, "I love you." It's harder to say, "I believe in you." But that's what he's secretly hoping to hear. Not just once, but consistently. For men, love is often tested in silence. Not in grand gestures, but in daily interactions where they feel either honored or diminished. And while he might not express it, the woman who gives him respect earns his deepest loyalty. Not out of duty, but out of genuine devotion. He may never ask for it. He may never say thank you for it. But if you give a man respect, he will give you his world. Ever wonder why he goes quiet during an argument? Why he walks away instead of engaging? Why he says it's not worth it when the tension rises? It's not because he doesn't care. It's because he values peace, often more than he knows how to explain. For many men, emotional chaos feels like a trap. Raised to suppress feelings, they're not equipped to handle emotionally charged situations. So when voices rise, when accusations fly, when the energy in the room turns heavy, his instinct isn't to fight, it's to shut down. Not because he's cold, not because he's immature, but because to him, love should feel like refuge, not war. When a woman demands constant emotional engagement, when she pushes during a moment of emotional overload, it doesn't bring him closer. It pushes him further into silence. What she sees as avoiding the issue, he sees as protecting the relationship. And ironically, the more she chases him for answers, the more he retreats, feeling misunderstood, judged, and cornered. Here's what most people miss. Men aren't trying to escape. They're trying to breathe. They need space not to disconnect, but to come back more grounded. And if they feel punished for needing that space, they begin to associate the relationship with tension, not comfort. This is why peace is so important. Men crave a woman who brings calm, not constant emotional turbulence. Not because they don't want to talk, but because they need to feel safe before they do. A calm presence allows him to open up in his own time, without pressure, without performance. It doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means choosing the right time, the right tone, and the right approach. It means understanding that sometimes silence isn't rejection, it's recovery. When a man finds peace with a woman, he doesn't just stay, he invests. He lets his guard down, he listens more, he shares more. He becomes more present, more engaged, more vulnerable. Not because he's been pushed to do so, but because he feels emotionally safe. He won't tell you this, but if he's pulling away, it's not always because he's tired of you. Sometimes he's just tired of the war, and he's searching for peace in someone who feels like home. He might not say it. He might even pretend it's not a big deal. But when she pulls away from his touch, when intimacy fades, when affection becomes transactional, he feels it deeper than he'll ever admit. Because for many men, physical connection isn't just about sex. It's about feeling loved, wanted, and emotionally close. We often misunderstand male desire. Society paints it as purely physical, animalistic, surface level. But underneath the surface, there's something far more emotional happening. When he reaches for her at night, when he places his hand on her lower back, when he initiates intimacy, it's not just about pleasure, it's about closeness, it's about reassurance, it's about connection without words. For men, physical affection is often their most natural love language, not because they lack emotional depth, but because physical touch is where they feel emotionally safe. It's where they can be vulnerable without having to explain themselves. When she pulls him closer, when she kisses him unexpectedly, when she touches him gently, it says more than 1,000 conversations ever could. And it's not just about sex. In fact, non-sexual physical touch matters just as much, if not more. Resting her hand on his arm while talking, cuddling without expectations, sitting close while watching a movie. These small, seemingly meaningless moments are where he quietly feels seen, valued, and connected. When a man feels physically rejected repeatedly, even unintentionally, it chips away at his sense of worth. He starts to wonder, is she still attracted to me? Does she still want me? And most importantly, am I still enough for her? He won't voice those questions, but they sit with him silently. The woman who understands this and who gives affection not out of obligation but out of warmth has a deeper hold on his heart than she may ever realize, because to him, it's not about being desired like an object, it's about being chosen again and again. He won't ask for more hugs or more kisses or more touch, but if she offers it freely without being told, he'll feel loved in the deepest part of his soul. She doesn't have to be flawless. She doesn't have to say the perfect thing, look a certain way, or meet a long checklist. What makes a man stay, truly stay, isn't perfection. It's loyalty. And not the kind that's loud or performative, but the quiet, unwavering kind that shows up when things aren't easy. When he fails, when he doubts himself, when the world turns its back on him, he remembers who stayed, who believed in him when he had no results to show, who stood by him when he was uncertain, lost, or broken. Men rarely say it, but that kind of loyalty imprints on their soul. It becomes the reason they commit, the reason they fight for the relationship, the reason they never stray, even when tempted. He knows he's not easy to love all the time. He carries unspoken pressure, silent fears, and emotional blind spots. And the woman who doesn't run when those things show up, the one who stays grounded instead of throwing stones, is the one he sees as irreplaceable. Loyalty doesn't mean blind agreement. It means not turning love into a weapon. It means arguing without betrayal, disagreeing without destruction. It means choosing the relationship even when it's inconvenient. And when a man feels that kind of consistency, his guard drops, his love deepens, his focus sharpens. He starts building a life, not just surviving one.